All right, can you hear me? Okay, we're good. All right. Sorry for the slight technical difficulties, folks. Sometimes those things happen, but welcome to episode 8 of What's That podcast. I am your host, Michael Marciona. And yeah, eighth episode of the show. Before we start, let's get into a couple announcements. Um, there is a meeting for the Ionian today at 12:30 in the Ionian office, which is right next to the main media communications office on the third floor of the Murphy Center, is back up and running. I've been informed recently that we are allowed to have meetings in there again. So you are able to, so yeah, we'll be having the meeting in there for the first time since last semester. Tickets for Iona's fashion show are live. Uh, Those are that show is happening, like, did we reveal the date yet? Yeah, the date has been revealed. April 25th is Iona's annual fashion show hosted by Iona's Fashion Club, from 5 to 7 p.m. in the big gym in Heinz Athletic Center, I believe, East. It's the gym where the men's and women's teams play their games. It's that gym. But that is also happening, and tickets are live. They are $3 for Iona students and $5 for general admission. Um, that's really all the announcements I have for today. So let's get into the show itself. First thing, an update from last episode. I did manage to finish Jujutsu Kaisen season 1. I have not watched Zero. I have not watched anything past season 1. And after episode 10, well, to episode 10 and onwards, once Mahito is introduced, the series really picks up. Okay, I'm gonna say preface this. I already kind of did spoil like the big villain for the arc of season 1, but yeah, spoilers for JJK season 1, just because the show is like 4 or 5 years old at this point. But just as a spoiler warning, spoilers for JJK season 1. I feel like JJK really picks up after episode 10. I know it takes like a few episodes to get in, and it's not like I said in last episode. I don't think that the first like 9 episodes of JJK are bad. I think they're pretty good. At least they're good. But after episode 10, it really picks up. Um, I do again. I do think once Mahito is introduced, I think the series really picks up. See, I did write down my thoughts on this. I can pull it up. Give me a second. Okay, so I feel like, again, sort of the complaint, the props that I gave to last episode, outside the plot last time, outside the plot picking up, animation style is really good. The opening, I could take or leave the second opening. It's fine. The second opening and ending theme. The first one's really good. The first opening and ending theme for JK are really good. The second opening and ending, I can kind of take or leave. I feel like the plot's really good outside of one complaint, which I'll get to. I think that Mahito sort of like drives the plot a lot, and that's really a good thing because I feel like Mahito's a really intriguing character. Um, I feel like the introduction of Toto and his dynamic with Yuji is really good. Great, even. I kind of love Toto as a character. Um, Once we got to know him, like, obviously he is introduced, he fights Megami, and Megami kind of, and it's a draw essentially. But once he like gets introduced like a full character, I feel like he's really great, even when it comes to the plot. My main problem with the plot in JJK is Sukuna. I really don't feel like you need him. Like, obviously, I know Sukuna's the guy who drives the plot. Like, he's like the big guy. He's the big bad. But like, he's not really needed because a lot of the first season, once the plot actually picks up, focuses more on Mahito, focuses more on Gato, focuses more on like the core four of the villains that we see. Sushi Gato, Jogo, Mahito, and Nanami, I think is the name of the tree spirit. And obviously Sukuna is there because Yuji is Sukuna's vessel, but in the sense that like I don't really feel like he adds anything. Like he doesn't really show up. He shows up once like every few episodes just to Mog. Like during Maito and okay, during Maito and Nanami's fight, he just to shows up to essentially just seal the deal for Yuji and Nanami. And like, that's kind of really that and him eating the finger in like episode I think 23. It was the episode after the fight with the brothers. Um that is like that's like, that's really the only time that he shows up after his introduction. And it's like, I know that he ends up becoming a lot more of a presence, and I know what happens with the manga. Um, and it's like I could like feasibly at this point in time, I believe that Gojo could solo Sukuna. And obviously I know what happens in the manga. I kind of know what goes on. Because I already again, I'm gonna say like JJK is the same thing with me for me with Steel Ball Run. Like I know the big plot points of JJK. I just don't know the in betweens, which is why I'm watching through the show. But yeah, I feel like you could replace Sukuna's fingers with any magical MacGuffin, and it would really not make much of a difference. Because at this point, season one, the show is just magical school, fight the demons, win. Gojo hits a hollow purple and solos everyone in the universe. That's essentially what JJK so far kind of. If I had to boil it down to like a few sentences, that's what it is. The Sukuna plot point is there, but it's not like there, if that makes any sense. Uh, also, uh, also a big thing. One thing I'm going to say is that my getting humbled by Maki has to be like an insane character assassination. Because like when we first we first meet Mai and Toto at the same time, and like their characters go on two different paths the second they're introduced to actual plot points, actual like plot characters, and not just points. Where Toto becomes like the guy, and then Mai loses to her older sister. Essentially, she just gets humbled. Like 0-4 in your last fights, Izzy Adancia humbled. And it's like, you know, wow, because you could have set up Mai to become like, oh, maybe she betrays Jujutsu Tech and becomes a villain and joins Sukuna's side or joins Mahito. And obviously I don't know what happens. That very much could happen. Like I don't know much about like I know like the big plot points, but I don't know what happens with like a lot of the smaller characters, a lot of like the lesser characters. It's like that very easily could happen. That very easily can happen. I still need to watch Zero. I still need to watch season 2, and I still need to watch season 3. That very much can happen and probably will happen. Just given it seems that my character is just drawn by revenge. Just drawn by revenge and jealousy, and also just riding off the coattails of Maki. But which is wildly different than her first interpretation, which is where she's like, oh, like where she's fighting with Nobara. And it's just like there's like a big like difference between once again. I mean, obviously that could be intentional because like Toto's first introduction, Toto is like seen as like this like big guy. But yet the sec once we actually get to see him, he ends up becoming like, he's still the guy, but he's like, you know, he's also serves as like a mentor figure to Yuji. And then, Mai is a lot more like the silent assassin kind of character, but yet she's ended up revealing to be like, someone trying to ride off the coattails of her younger, her older but less powerful sister. Um, and I probably am gonna watch Zero at some point. Easter break is coming up, so I do have some few days off, so I will probably put on Zero at some point and probably start season 2. And now season 2, excuse me. And I know season 2 revolves around Shibuya, and I know Shibuya is like the extremely like big, massive plot point of JJK, like the big arc. And they've already teased it, but it's just more of like okay, we're actually getting to Shibuya now. And also, obviously, I don't know. I haven't watched the full thing, but I feel like everyone at this point knows about the Megami Potential Man memes, and yeah, they're funny. I don't know if it's necessarily true. Like, I can see where it's coming from because Megami is probably like the third strongest member of his team out of three. Because Yuji is obviously extremely powerful. He's an extremely quick learner. Obviously, once he ends up fully becoming Sukuna, he's gonna be like the most powerful sorcerer of all time. Um Nobara, the only difference between Nobara and Megami is that Megami has an incomplete domain expansion. Um Outside of that, I feel like you can make an argument for Nobara and Megami being on the same level. And given like if we're going as a team, I feel like the combination of Megami and of Nobara and Yuji is better than Megami and Yuji. So that's why I would place like Megami under Nobara. But at the same time, he's like still extremely strong and can still like clutch when he needs to. Like in the last fight when Yuji and Nobara were fighting the brothers, the two demon brothers. Megami was fighting the tree spirit, or at least someone like the tree spirit, and he won. Kind of. He kind of won. He didn't die. That's a good thing. But at the same time, like it wasn't like oh, he won because the other guy died. I know it was an escape compared to Nobara and Yuji's fight where the two demon brothers died. But I wouldn't necessarily say that Megami is at potential man status yet. I can see him getting there, but not yet. Um, but yeah, that's my review of JJK season 1. Um, very good, great even at points. I still have to watch Zero, and I still have to watch season 2 and 3. I don't know if I will get to that here, but I will get to that at some point. But moving on, a couple albums that I listened to or re-listened to very recently. Well, EPs actually. One of them's an EP, one of them's an album. Uh, I listened to the new Kid Cudi EP, "Have You Been to Heaven at Night," which released this year. Actually released last week, I believe. And like, it's not bad. It's not anywhere near good. I'd say it's actually no, it's bad, but it's not atrocious. I lied. It's bad, but it's not atrocious. It's like, it was an alternative album and like alternative rock. And like I get where it's coming from, and obviously I'm not like opposed to it in concept. But like I didn't really like anything on here. It was 4 tracks, maybe like 12 minutes. and like it was it was there. It definitely was there. I wouldn't call anything on there good. I'd maybe call like a track on there solid. Um, I love the cover art though. The cover design that ended up making was great. That whoever Cuddy asked to make it was great. But the album itself was it existed, I suppose. It's there. It's the worst thing I listened to this year, but it's because I didn't really listen to much, and also, I haven't really listened to much that came out this year. I've only listened to about, like, 11 albums and EPs, but, like, it's not the worst thing out there. I could have listened to Will Smith's album last year. I did. That was horrible. Probably the worst thing I've laid my ears I put my headphones on for. Um, I also re-listened to, Heroes and Villains by Metro Boomin. Uh, Very good album. A lot of the songs are recontextualized based off of my involvement with, fashion, and I typically hear those songs a lot. But, very good album, 7.5 out of 10. A couple previews of things that are coming up. This Friday, big weekend for music, a big week for music. We're taking a look at what's coming out. I believe a matter. Does this come out this week? No, next week. Pompeii Utility by Earl Sweatshirt, Mike, and Surf Gang comes out this Friday. Um, 2-disc album, 33 tracks in total. Um, I am still extremely excited for this album, even though it's not exactly what I was expecting. 'Cause I was kind of expecting like a combo album, like a dual album where they're like working, where they're like going back and forth on each track. But it's gonna be like a two-parter. Obviously, some of those 2 songs do exist, like, Lead Belly, which did come out, uh, Kirkland, which also is on Mike's track, on Mike's part of the album. But I still think it's gonna be really good because I love both Mike's and Earl's music. Um, Thundercats album comes out this Friday. A lot of features on it, but overall, I'm also really excited for that one. While not coming out this week, a couple other albums that I'm excited for. Yaya Bay is releasing a new album. Fidelity and Leifei is releasing her deluxe of A Matter of Time. And last year I had no, not last year, 2024. 2024 I had her deluxe of I forgot the name of the album off the top of my head. Hold on, give me a second. Albums. I had a Bewitch the Goddess edition at number 2, my album of the year rankings. I had A Matter of Time, the original A Matter of Time at number 3, I wanna say. I think I had it behind Clips and Bad Bunny's albums. But, that probably will definitely be a listen. The artist is releasing D&D on Friday. Just going through. But yeah, like those are like sort of like the big thing albums that I'm looking forward to that are coming out recently. Are coming out soon, not recently. Um, as of right now, for context, my album of the year rankings for 2025, my top 5 are The Romantic by Bruno Mars. I believe in order it's The Romantic, The Fall Off, The Mountain, Casino, and Don't Be Dumb, I think are my top 5 off the top of my head. I have a chart. And if anything, that's probably going to be my top 5 because off re-listen, Don't Be Dumb, and actually, I might move Don't Be Dumb above Casino, but that's, because those that and The Mountain have been playing a lot on in my rotation of music. Um, so I might just readjust those rankings by the end of the year, but I imagine that a lot of those albums will be staying in, like, the top half of my music, of my rankings this year. I don't know if I'll listen to like 120 albums like I did last year, but I could. It's possible. I have a lot of time once school's over. It's when school starts again. But there's like not necessarily a guarantee that I'm gonna get to as many albums. I may get to the ones that I do like, of course. Like Friday, I'm 100% listening to at the very least Pompeii Utility. I might get to Distracted, maybe the Thundercats' newer album, but I don't know if I will get to it on Friday. If not, I'm definitely actually no, I'm off Friday. I'm not working Friday. Yeah, I definitely gotta get to both. But like the albums from the artists that I know I like, I'm 100% going to get to. It's, I just gotta figure out what other albums outside of that I'm going to get to, but, like, like Mike, Earl, and Surf Gang's album I'm getting to, Thundercats album I'm getting to, Yeah, Bass album I'm getting to, pleasant surprise, if Willow releases another album, I will probably also get to that because Pale Rock Black was a pleasant surprise. Um, if any of, like, my favorite artists release an album this year, I'm 100% getting to that as soon as possible. Um I don't know if 120 I'll get to, but if I do, I'll get to it. But yeah, it's kind of really all I have to talk about today. I do have to go set up for the Ionians meeting in our office. Once again, that is 12:30 in the Ionians office. Which, if you come up the elevator, in the Murphy Center, and you go down, and make a right, you should see a door that says the Ionian on it, and that is where our office is. But yeah, 12:30, I have to go set up for that meeting now. So I hope you guys enjoy your day, and I will see you next time.